me. So Derek is our assistant chief over design and deployment. So everything from the design stage to the construction stage. So Derek's been with the department for a good bit of time. So happy to have Derek on our team. So that's I brought to actually help provide an update on our Hamilton Church Mountain View signal, but also I see some questions coming into the chat too. I saw a question about paving plans. So would like to see an online multi-year plan for repaving, road widening, turn lane additions, and other road improvement plans. So yes, there is the neighborhood tracker through the mayor's office that has that information as far as capital projects. We do need to add more of the paving information to that. So I agree, we are working on that. So you have that information, but I'm going to turn it over to Derek to go over our Hamilton Church Mountain View signal. You know this, that we actually got out there and installed the signal because we had a safety issue. We wanted to address the safety issue and get out there and put the signal up. It has been in operations for the last 2 months, 2 months in there. We are tracking it daily to see how it's operating. We made some adjustments here recently to it to make sure it's operating appropriately. And at that same time, in parallel, I'll let Derek talk about the widening that's happening for the turn lane. So Derek, you want to touch on that?
Absolutely. Thanks, Brad. And, just to recap, got the signal out as quick as possible. Some long lead time on signal poles still, but happy to have those in place. Last month, we worked with Thomas Edison, the elementary school there, to adjust timings to make sure their buses had a little more time to get through that intersection, especially during the start and end of the school day. I think we updated those timings mid-March. Haven't heard much feedback since then, which we usually take to be good news. If you're seeing any issues out there with the signal timing, please let us know. Now, as far as the next step in this process, which is widening those roads, we were originally hoping that we'd be able to do this without acquiring any additional right-of-way, but after working with our design team, we've determined that's the next step. So going forward, we're going to work with the 4 adjacent property owners to purchase that additional right-of-way. We think a couple of those are going to be pretty easy and pretty fast. One of those, however, we know we're going to have to go through the full right-of-way process. There's steps in there, notification steps before we're able to take the property into Metro's right-of-way. So that process is going to run 3 to 5 months before we're actually going to own all the space we need around the intersection. Hopefully during that time, though, we can start with utility relocations. We're anticipating having to relocate some Metro water infrastructure, gas lines, potentially NES infrastructure as well. That process can range from 4 to 8 months. Once we have a better idea on the right-of-way, we'll know where we're sitting there. But once that's all in place, we can really get rolling with construction. We hope to have a contractor on board, with the right-of-way in hand, late fall, early winter, probably November timeline. Then they'll be able to get out there, start doing work. Once we're ready for construction, we know what the impacts in the area will be. We'll certainly want to come back to this meeting, to District 33, discuss the plan as to how construction will be. We'll be able to give a better idea of the time there. But I think right now we're looking to have that contractor and team on board, Halloween, Thanksgiving time.
Okay. So, and we're on to answer questions too, if there's any questions. I think I saw the one in the chat about the, oh, I got another one here in the chat. Let me read through this one from Larry. Based on the wait time for 5-speed monitoring trailers in the county, we need many more of the trailers available in the county as residential neighborhoods explore traffic calming solutions for their communities. Can Metro Nashville PD comment on their effectiveness? What is the cost of one trailer? So I will say we did purchase about 10 additional trailers not too long ago, and we're cycling those into rotation. We have seen some pretty good effective response for our static feedback signs that we've deployed as part of our traffic calming program. We're seeing around a 5 to 6 mile an hour reduction in our average 85th percentile speeds. So those are the 85th percentile worst speeds out there. But we are moving to deploy those speed trailers, the mobile speed trailers, more rapidly. We're working on how we can deliver those sooner based on the requests that come in. I want to encourage everybody. Our traffic calming program, we are looking at the possibility of putting out more selections this round in coming up this fall. So what I mean by that is we do 2 rounds a year. In each round, we select 25 projects. So we're hoping to have actually a larger selection this next round. In addition, we have around 44 traffic calming programs near construction phase right now. So we're getting a little bit better in streamlining that process. So I'm happy to come to another meeting or any of your particular neighborhood meetings where we would love to come and talk to your neighborhood about it in the program, but also some of the other things that we can do in lieu of the vertical measures that are oftentimes the most popular, are the speed cushions in the calming program. But we would love to come talk about other measures, and definitely Metro Nashville PD is our big partner with that, and we always coordinate with them during those processes. See if there's any other ones. Okay. For NDOT, we have numerous 2-lane roads that were never intended for traffic quality experience. The roads and shoulders are broken. Let's see, shoulders that have been patched but continue to break. There are also the shoulders that have severe drop offs on the side. Please explore better long-term solutions. I agree with you. Shoulder stabilization is a challenge that we have in a lot of these roads. We're looking at ways to improve that in our surface and our maintenance plan. We want to get out there and stabilize shoulder difficulties when we have, but also that cycles into our maintenance schedule and our maintenance plan for resurfacing as well. But I would encourage you, if there's a specific spot where the shoulders are broken, where you're having a challenge, put that into Hub. We do go out and evaluate everything that comes into Hub. So put it into Hub. We'll get out there and see how we can address in the short term of a larger project. But good question. I agree with you there to explore better long-term solutions. Thank you for the question.
Are there any other questions for NDOT?
Hey, go ahead, Larry.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I was just trying to get unmuted.
Okay.
Brad, I can't compliment you guys enough on your responsiveness to Hub Nashville. The traffic light at Hamilton Church and Mount View Road has been working exceptionally well. I am absolutely blown away, even without the turn lanes. It is 1,000% better. And you guys have made such a difference to the work on the roads in Southeast Nashville. I just want you to know that we appreciate you.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. It's our job. We take our job very seriously in responding to the needs of the community. So we want to continue to push and do good things for the community.
Please excuse me for coming on late. In fact, I've got my manager waiting for me now. I have a call with my job, so I may be jumping back and forth. But hello, everybody, and I'm so sorry. But can you tell us how many traffic, and please excuse me if you already said this, how many traffic calming programs are in the works now in 33? And if you have any that are getting ready to come up in 33,
Yes.
because we've had a lot of problems and a lot of need there.
Yeah. So I can give you that, Councilmember Lee. I'll actually send that through email to you to share with the community. I don't have that number currently right now, but we can give you an update. And actually, I'll say one thing. We did open up a web desktop view where you can actually see all the calming projects. They're all mapped. And you can click on those to get an update on their delivery, whether they're in construction, whether they're in ballot process. So you can actually see that in real time. But I'll ask Derek to put that link in the box if he can do that. But I'll also give you more of an update that you can see.
Thank you. And whatever you send to me, would you please copy Rosie on it as well?
Absolutely.
She's the person that sends things out for me, so we can make sure
We'll do
that
that.
everybody in the database gets it as well.
We'll do that. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so very much. And I did not have the agenda that Rosie sent out. So I am just going to say, if you all will go with whoever is next and just introduce yourselves. I'm sorry if you hear a squeaking in the background. That's my little four-legged baby, and I can't get that one to be quiet. So she's playing with a toy. But whoever is next, go ahead and introduce themselves, whoever is on your team, and then go ahead and take questions. And thank you so very much, everybody. I think the fire department, I think, was supposed to go next. So I'll let you do that. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jerry Tomlinson. I work with the Nashville Fire Department. Good to be here. I just wanted to see if we had any questions that anyone might have for the fire department.
Well, since nobody's asking, and maybe they will think about it, so please have questions for the fire department. But what about what is going to be the closest fire station to District 33 in this area? When is it going to go up? What conversations have been about having it in this district, in another district, or what's going to be here for a fire station?
We continue to have conversations with Region Homes regarding a land allocation that was required through council ordinance in order to have property for a future build for a fire station out somewhere in the Battle Road / Carruthers Parkway area of Davidson County. Councilmember Rutherford has also mentioned trying to obtain land somewhere near Pettis Road and Old Hickory Boulevard. As a part of this process, of course, we continue to work with Region Homes to get the property allocated to the fire department. And of course, there will be several steps that will be involved in the process once funding is allocated by council and by the mayor's office in order for us to add an additional station to that area.
Okay, so just let me ask this because, and I know you don't have any specifics now, but we have been talking about this for forever. We were talking about it in one place, then we thought it was going to be in Rutherford's district, and we thought, no, it's supposed to be in mine or whatever. So I know you said talks are going on now. So can you give us like some idea about the process and the timeline? I'm not looking for, okay, this is going to go up in January of '94. I'm not looking that specific, but at least something to help us talk about it and know what to look forward to.
We're currently working with Real Properties and Metro Legal for a section of about 5 acres at the corner of Battle Road and Carruthers Parkway that we've identified as a possible allocation that we can receive for that. As far as moving forward with the build, of course, council member, you understand that there would need to be a capital allocation to actually build the building and an operational increase to the fire department in order to hire the people that are there. And then a fleet allocation as well to buy the equipment that goes in there. So we're real early into the process, but we're working with Metro Legal and working with Real Properties now to see if we can secure this 5 acres for a potential build there.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for fire? No? Okay. I think we had the police is next on the list.
Hello, Kevin Lovell, Commander, South Precinct. Appreciate you having us. The only question I saw in the chat was about a pursuit yesterday. And so to give an update on that, the Vehicular Crimes Division saw a stolen 2019 Honda Sonata in South Nashville around Hobson Pike. They did a preemptive, they deployed a preemptive pursuit terminating device, which is a spike strip trying to, they knew the vehicle was probably going to run, so they tried to deflate the tires before that occurred. The driver avoided the spike strip, drove around it. The only police resources that were monitoring that car was a helicopter. No police officers were chasing the vehicle. No one had blue lights on behind it. The driver fled at a high rate of speed on his own accord. The helicopter monitored where he was going, relaying that information to ground units. The driver then went down Hobson Pike where he clipped the back of a school bus and then crashed out. And officers were able to surround the vehicle, surround the area. They chased two of the suspects that got out on foot, caught both of them. Both were 18 years old and also have been linked to other stolen vehicles. We've had a rash of the Kias and the Hyundais that have been, of course, targeted by vehicle thieves. So they were connected to a couple of those Kias and a couple of Hyundais. The only child that was in the bus that was injured just complained of some minor neck pain. He was taken to the hospital and checked out and is in good condition tonight. So no injuries other than that minor one there.
Any questions? Larry?
Sure. I'll ask one. Since I asked NDOT about the speed monitoring trailers, what is MNPD's response about the effectiveness of those trailers? And do they provide significant speed reductions in neighborhoods so that police officers don't have to be used to do radar surveillance?
Right. So I'll piggyback on Brad's response to that earlier and how it reduces the most egregious speeding. And so what we're seeing is when those devices are deployed, they do have an impact on drivers. Just seeing the device out there, never knowing if it's being actively monitored or recorded, does immediately cause drivers to reduce their speed. Now there's going to be the few people that know what they are and know how they work and know that they're not actually live monitored, and they'll continue to do what they were doing. But generally, the general public does respond to them, and it does reduce overall speed in residential areas. Just as like you said, not having to have a police officer out.
It might be just me, but you froze.
He froze. While he's reconnecting, Councilmember Lee, Brad Freeze commented perhaps before you were able to come on that they've ordered another 10, I believe he said, of those speed monitoring trailers. And I had asked the question, I didn't want to put him on the spot, but I did ask the question, what do they cost? And if they are an effective method of reducing speed in neighborhoods, maybe we need to buy more because, that is a one-time capital expense with some maintenance, I'm sure, as opposed to ongoing police officers that could be used for more serious crime.
Well, I will tell you, I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything about it yet, because I know we're supposed to have a finance, a meeting, like a budget meeting, and the chair of the budget department is supposed to explain it all to me. But I understand that there is a little bit of money that each council person can request some things with. I was going to put it on send it, actually, I was going to send it out to the database and put it on my Facebook page because I wanted people to email me, and there's a specific thing that I want them to put into the title so that I can get them all together. So don't everybody or anybody rush to do it right now because this is very unofficial. One of the things, I was going to do two things. First, because we have had requests for traffic calming from a lot of different areas. We have had people put it in the hub, and it hasn't happened. And then there was something saying that there was a list, and we might get some stuff next year or some stuff like that. So my two for that money, that if I can get my hands on it, I wanted to do some first traffic calming, and then second, I was going to look at sidewalks. And I know we need sidewalks, and I know that now when you do new building, they automatically have to put in sidewalks. But the first thing that I get a lot of complaints about is the speeding. So my first ask was going to be to see what areas specifically, like in this area from this to this, not just like, oh, I need it at this development. No, I need specifics so that I can put that in and try to get some traffic calming. So just to let you know that point, Larry, and hoping, and y'all cross your fingers, hope that that comes, because if I can get my hand on some money, that's what we're going to do, because throughout our district, traffic speeding stuff is bad.
That's brilliant. Great.
Officer Lavelle, are you back with us? You left us.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? I'm
Yes.
good? Okay. So I don't know where I froze, but yes, those trailers are effective. They do reduce speed. Just seeing the trailer and the person's actual speed on there, I've ran radar close to those, just kind of watching to see how people react. And when they notice a trailer, they see their speed immediately, and you can automatically see them let off the gas and the speed drops. So I think it does have a great effect, just being out there, just silently watching and people seeing it. So yeah.
I know it was brought up at the Southeast meeting when we were all there at the Antioch High School, but I'm going to ask about it again, because this is another problem, not just in 33, throughout the Southeast, about the drag racing and all of that. Because if we cannot see it, we can hear it, because it's so bad. Jack, I can't remember where it was now, but somebody did act. I'm so sorry. Next time you start talking, I'm gonna go and take that toy away from her. But I know somebody did actually identify a specific area where they go all of the time. So something really needs to be done about that. And not only that, but is there anything that can be done about, I don't know the right term for it. I call it a hole in a muffler, because I cannot stand that. So they rush out not only in the roads, but then they have that loud noise that actually will wake up community members, kids and stuff, and scare them. So I'm going to ask if you'd have some words to both of those, please.
Yes, so the street racers, we've actually made several arrests on those street racing. There's some 3 or 4 people that we've identified that we've arrested. They typically go to Logistics Way. There's a parking lot out there for, I believe it's Amazon, and we're working with those. We're working with folks like Amazon to get trespass waivers on file so that we can go in, and when they get on private property like that, when the responsible parties are not there, we can make that arrest for trespassing and reckless driving and things like that on their property. So we're working with them to get a trespass waiver signed. We're also working with other areas they go to. I know they go a lot to Metroplex. There's large parking lots there. We've actually contacted them buildings for sale. So they actually came in, the realtor came into the station the other day and signed a waiver for that one. Dell Parkway, we have a waiver for that large parking area. So if they go there, we can arrest them. And the other areas they go to are in Hermitage Precinct over around the airport, Bradley Parkway area, places like that. And some of those areas are owned actually by and monitored by the airport police. So we're working closely with them. If we get information that they're in a location, we go, we make our arrests, we make our citations for trespassing, things like that, and they leave. We monitor their social media website to see if they're going to announce another location. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But when they do, we notify the either if it's Hermitage Precinct, will notify them that they're going to this location, or airport will notify them that they're going to that location. So the traffic division is still actively monitoring social media accounts for the known street racers we have. The young man that lives in Franklin, that was organizing a lot of these large meetups, Keller Moore, he's been arrested and charged with 10 counts of inciting a riot for the large groups meetups that he does. And so hopefully we're letting that information get out. Hopefully it'll stop some of it. But the traffic division does actively monitor the street racing activities. They have a group they pay overtime on that will come in during the weekends, like Friday, Saturday, and try to respond. That way patrol is not being tied up with trying to respond to that and other calls for service. The mufflers, a lot of those vehicles, you'll see the Hondas, the Civics, things like that. They'll put an attachment to the muffler. Some of them are called glass packs, and that makes the muffler or the exhaust sound a lot louder when they rev the engine. And so there is a muffler law in Tennessee and Davidson County. So we're working with traffic. We're notifying or just updating our police officers in patrol because they don't do a lot of traffic enforcement in patrol. It's all calls for service and things like that. But when we do have time to make sure that they're updated, at least in roll calls every day, about traffic laws and some of the obscure laws that we don't really think about. The loud mufflers, not many people know that there's a law about loud mufflers, or not many people know that when a tractor trailer's on the interstate or coming down the road, they can't use that. It's called a jake brake. You'll hear that engine rattle and kick and muff and all that stuff. That's also illegal to use inside the city limits. So we update them on all that, and hopefully when they hear things like that, they'll at least make the stop, identify the person so we can notify traffic if they're on one of our lists for street racers. We can address them that way. And also if they want to write the ticket for the loud muffler, they can do that as well.
So let me ask you this. If we are living in a neighborhood and we know people in the neighborhood that have those mufflers and go out fast and stuff like that, is that something that we can report to you all so you can speak to them about it? Or do you just have to wait until you catch them on the road?
No, you can report it to us, and we'll, we have the aggressive driving website through metro.gov that people could go on and report aggressive driving incidents, people passing, speeding, loud mufflers, things like that in Davidson County. And the traffic division gets that every day. So it's like an email that goes right to the traffic division. And so when they get those, even though they didn't see it occur, they still make an effort to go out and talk to that person and say, hey, this was reported on our aggressive driving website. The activity you're doing, the speeding, the improper passing, the aggressive driving, or your loud muffler, and they'll talk to them and inform them of the law. And sometimes that helps when you put people on notice that, hey, somebody's watching and has reported you to the police, and the police actually come out to your house and speak to you about it. So it does a great deal of, it helps enforce that, and it helps hopefully sometimes reduce that as well.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Questions, comments? We appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming.
I got my little one too. She wasn't playing with a toy though.
Well, this is only one. I've got two of them.
Oh, they're the same. Look, they have the same color.
Okay. All right. Codes is next, and you can still talk even though you don't have a baby to lift up and show us.
Good evening. Will Dodd, Public Information Officer at the Metro Codes Department. I saw Mr. Price's question in the chat. I believe it was referring to an issue off Mount View Road, the service road with the Publix out there. I've actually got our property standards chief on the call with us today. I believe he'll probably be able to speak more to the specifics as well as the process of what these things look like when we're waiting on them to go to environmental court. So Stokes, do you want to hop in here and kind of address Mr. Price's question?
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody. I'm Stokes with Property Standards. We got a complaint about this, and we get routine complaints about these kinds of things with junk and trash debris on the side of the road. This service road is next to Publix and behind Thornton's, and it's actually an environmental court. It's coming up soon. The court date's May the 16th. So we're going to handle it in court from there, and hopefully get the problem resolved.
We really appreciate that area, as you know, Councilmember Lee, from Deontay Hall.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's been working a lot on that.
Yeah, this has been a mess. And you know, I can understand as a much smaller property owner that's hard, especially if they're not living on the property, to recognize the issues that it creates for the community. But I'm certainly hoping, I think that there would be community interest in getting that service road cleaned, and charging it back to the property owner if that's a possibility.
Yes, sir. And I will add one more thing. With litter specifically, on a property like this where there isn't someone living on that site, a lot of the times we may issue an abatement notice. The property owner may come out, clean up the litter, and then it becomes littered once again. If it's an area where you have a lot of trash thrown out, so that can cause some frustration there. But as Stokes said earlier, hopefully this court date on the 16th, all the parties will come together and we'll figure out some way to both keep this property within the standards it needs to be, and also hopefully have a cleaner community for you guys.
Yes, sir. And I can also add that we see this often on properties like this. And we understand that even though it's typically not a property owner is going to litter their own property, but we do hold them responsible in court to get it clean, and we will follow through as far as we can take it to make sure that they do get it clean and try to keep it clean.
Great. Anybody else? Well, you know me, maybe somebody else will come up after I finish this. I would like to share or bring up two specifics. There's probably a lot of things, but I know two specifics that I want to talk to you about. I have had quite a few people on, let's see, what is it? On Twin Oaks Lane, I know have put things in and talked to people about a house that is about, now this is Twin Oaks Lane, which is right off of Old Hickory, not far after you get off of 24. That there is a house there doing some type of commercial stuff because they have trucks coming in and out all the time and a lot of trucks parked, and it just looks bad. And a lot of the residents are worried about that. So I don't know if that rings a bell for you, but I know I have sent something in asking for that to be looked at. And then I have been contacted. I know at least 3 residents, because I told them just go ahead and put it in the hub, has put something in the hub. So I don't know if people came out and looked and said, well, we can't tell. And that brings up another issue that I'm going to bring with this. Codes, when something is wrong, you can't actually go on private property? How does that work if something's wrong and it's like off the road some?
Well, to address your first question, I would need to know the exact address on Twin Oaks Lane
Yeah,
to
I
be
didn't
able
have
to
that.
look it up and see. But when somebody's running a commercial establishment out of a property, we check the zoning first, see if they're allowed to do that. If it's a residential property, it is against the code and they can't do that, and we'd issue an abate and try to handle it in that way. Um, um, and typically, if they were running a business, we can work with them to possibly get a home occupation permit. But if it's something like that, they're not allowed to do it.
Okay. So my second thing, and I don't have the exact address either, but I can give you a lot of specifics that'll help you with it. The next one is on Old Hickory. So it's very unsightly. So that's what actually people were calling about it first, because it's very unsightly. So on Old Hickory, at the intersection of Burkett and Old Hickory, turn on Old Hickory, and it's only about 1/4 of a mile down. On your right, it's a house that has outside, it's got a big sign. It says Nashville Wood, I believe. And the yard is full of, and it's been this way for like I know the wintertime or whatever. So I have not actually reported it. I was hoping that it was something that was just trying to help them through the winter and then they clean it up. So I was kind of leaving it alone, but it's still there, and it's added by there were some furniture pieces now in the middle of the yard with plastic and stuff over it, and then they take it off. So it's not like it's a yard sale that happens one day. It like stays there. And so it's a lot of wood. If you go by it, you will say, oh, that's it. Because the yard is very unsightly. It's got wood, it's got wooden buildings like outside in the yard that I don't know if that's for storing wood or not, but it's very unsightly. So I don't know if they've got a permit to sell stuff there, but even if they do and you look at it, you'll be like, no, they need to do something because that looks terrible. And that's what the calls were about, because it just looks terrible. So I want to kind of put that on your radar as well, please, please.
Yes, ma'am. We can definitely go check that out. And again, we would check the zoning out first and see and look for permits and see if they're allowed to be doing what they're allowed to be doing, if they've
Right.
been permitted through the zoning department. And
Yes.
otherwise, we would issue a notice for use not permitted and for open storage with the wood. And as far as what you were talking about earlier about what we're allowed to do as far as a
Yeah.
department to be able to look into these things. You know, driving down a service road next to Publix where it's in plain view, that's pretty easy. You know, you can see that
Right.
from the car. That's something that's plain sight. We have just had several meetings with the legal department about this.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
the short answer is that we need to do all of our inspection to be in accordance with the law and to not be trespassing on private property. They want us to be doing all of our inspecting from the right of way. And what that means is that we can't walk onto someone else's property. We can't look into their backyard fence. If they have a privacy fence or some reasonable expectation of privacy, we can't go looking over their fence or through their fence to see the stuff. A lot of times we get a complaint from a neighbor that says, well, their backyard's full of junk. If we can't verify that from the right of way, then it's something that we really can't enforce.
Wow.
And that's kind of a new development. We used to have to be able to kind of pull up in the driveway a little bit and look around. We do have the ability, if the neighbor contacts us and leaves us their contact information, we can go on, and call them, and they can give us access to their property. And if we can
Okay.
see it from there, then we can move forward with that. But typically, as far that, we need to be staying in the right of way. So if we can, if it's wrapped around the back of a house inside of a privacy fence and we can't see it from an alley or we can't see it from the street, then it's not something we're going to be able to enforce at this point.
Okay. So then, okay, it sounds like your answer to this question is going to be no, you can't do anything about it. But say there is a home, and again, I know you have to check permits, so you don't know what's happening, but it's a home and they are doing, they're selling stuff, doing work, doing commercial work, but you can hear it. Like you can hear the saw going, you can hear the machinery, the hammers, everything is loud, but it's like back behind the house. So you can't really see it, but the neighbors have complained and the neighbors all know what's going on because they can hear it. So we just up out of luck on that one?
Not necessarily. No. The Joey, the zoning administrator, his position is that in civil environmental court, it's up to the defendant to prove, if it gets to court, that they're not doing something that's illegal. So if an inspector goes out to a property, checks the zoning, checks the permits, and they believe there's an illegal use of the property going on, which is what you're talking about when somebody's running a commercial business that's loud and obnoxious in a residential neighborhood. The first thing we would do right now is we would talk to zoning, see if it was permitted. We would email the legal department, get their approval to send an abate notice. But an inspector in environmental court can be put on the stand in a hearing, and they can be a witness to what they heard and what they believe is going on. And then at that point, it's up to the referee to make the decision and the attorneys to make their arguments. But an inspector could take the case to court based on their experience.
Thank you so very much. Anybody else? All those questions that you have questions about now is the time. Okay. I know I see Mr. Honeysucker's name down. I don't know who else he may have with him. You know, he's one of the supermen that help work with us in this district. So I think next is Metro Water.
All right, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to be here. It seemed like I just saw everybody last week, but that's okay. Just left the planning meeting and I'm here now. So with Metro Water, I oversee John Honeysucker. I'm Assistant Director of Waste Services. We also interact and cover the water side of everything. If there's any problems with water lines or water service, please reach out to the council member and let her know. We'll do anything we can. Unfortunately, I do not have the name of projects that are going on right now in the District 33, and I can get those to you and have those to Council State Lee and to Rosie tomorrow. I can have those to you that are currently going on. I do want to encourage that we're still working through kinks with whether it be trash and recycle pickups. Please make me aware of it. Let the council lady know if there's something going on or that if you're being missed. I don't care what it is, how small it is. Please make me aware because I need to know in order to make sure we get this thing right. It's a process, and we're working through it as well as we can. I won't belabor and hold up everybody any longer. If does anyone have any questions? Oh, I do want to go back and add one thing. Councilor Lee, that was mentioned at the meeting last week about the, I think it's a charter school or something that's being built out there in that area. We did send the inspectors out there, and I did engage with Tawana Chick tonight at the planning meeting. Erosion control was one of the issues that was going on. They did get that back up. We did have an inspector go out there and they did immediately get that back up. Other than that, we did not have any other violations from the water perspectives side of it. I know there are some concerns about what they can and can't do with the state that was brought to my attention tonight. Some stuff is out of our control when it goes to that state level, and we realize that, but what we can do within our means, we will. So we are committed to keeping an eye on, a watchful eye on that. with that, if anyone has any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer it. I'm not gonna give you long because it's draft coming on, so y'all better throw them hands up real quick.
I'm going to say thank you so very much. I'm looking, am I missing a hand? Okay, as always, we really, really appreciate you. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I think we have the mayor's office next. Yay! Thank
Hi, how
you.
are you? Do you have do I have permission to share my screen?
Ms. Rosie, can you hand her over permission, please?
If not, I can improvise.
And don't let me forget, I think I see Ms. Erica too. So Rosie, at the beginning, did we identify any elected officials that may be on there that wanted to say hi?
No, ma'am, I didn't do that.
Okay, so Erica, when the mayor's office finishes, please don't let me forget to give you a chance just to say hello.
Okay, I will not. Did you want me to talk about tax freeze and tax relief too at that time, or you want me to wait?
That will be great. That will be great. So don't let me forget you.
All right,
So
thank
you.
you.
Okay, so hello everyone. I am Tiara Thomas. I am the Community Outreach Liaison with the Office of Mayor John Cooper. And so today I just want to give you guys a brief overview of a very cool opportunity. It's called participatory budgeting. I think it's very fitting for some of the updates you guys were receiving prior to my little segment. Pretty much in a nutshell, participatory budgeting is an opportunity for citizens to decide where a large bucket of money goes into their communities. And so I know we're getting into a little late into the evening, so I'll keep it very brief and modify this presentation a little bit. But I want to make sure you guys walk away with 3 essential things. One, just having a brief understanding of what participatory budgeting is. Also, making sure that you all kind of have a call to action to submit ideas into this process, as well as for anyone who may be interested in participating in the administrative side of this process as a budget delegate, which I'll kind of go through and break down a little bit further. I really want to make sure those are the 3 main things that you all walk away with from this conversation. And so I'll just start with a brief just summary of what participatory budgeting is. It is a chance for communities to decide how government money is spent. And so this is our first citywide cycle of what we call PB in Nashville. So in 2021, 2022, we did a pilot process in the North Nashville Bordeaux area where we were allowing them $2 million for the community to decide how they wanted to spend it through this process. And so it's a 5-phase process. And in this process in 2023, we are allotting the city in every district $10 million. Not every district gets $10 million, but the city as a whole that will be split through the different projects that are submitted. $10 million to decide how to better their communities. And so where we are right now currently is in our idea collection phase from communities, and then our process design phase through our community steering committee. And so I'm going to pretty much focus on our idea collection phase right now. And so idea collection began in February and it stops June 1st. And so right now, as I was telling Council Lady Lee, that right now in District 33, there's only 1 project submitted for the entire district. And so we really want to make sure that you all are taking advantage of this opportunity and not being disproportionately out ideaed. I don't even know if that's the right word, but I don't want you guys to be overshadowed by any other district without having the resources to make sure you're fully equipped to participate. So ideas can be submitted up to 14 years, from anyone from 14 years of age and up. And ideas must present a clear public benefit, and residents can submit as many ideas as they would like. And so at the end of this presentation, I'll have a QR code on the screen that will take you to our main landing page for PB that will allow you to submit your ideas. It's a very easy application where you just submit the location of your idea, what you want to fix, what area of problems your idea is in. So that might be education, parks, community safety, environment, so forth and so forth. There really aren't a lot of restrictions for your ideas. The only restrictions that you do have are that they can't be any ideas that benefit a private owned entity or a private or personal individual. So some of those ineligible ideas would be a salary for a mental health professional, for a summer camp, or hiring an individual for a community center. And it also can't be something that benefits a public business. So if you have your own small owned business or your own business, we can't issue the funds to benefit your business and your business alone. So that's just kind of the parameters that we do have that are set, but everything else is fair game. And so I really do want to kind of give you an example of some of the projects that you can start to think about. It can be anything from repaving of a street, installing playground equipment, redoing an entire playground, lights in a certain area, water, trees. You can think of community gardens, new equipments for schools. I know in our North Nashville cycle, we did a new HVAC system. I think it was at Pearl High School. Library materials, youth centers and senior centers, and also even something as simple as a mural anywhere in the city that you would like. And so from there, we have our steering committee that is already working right now and it's already formed, but just a little bit about what they do. They're a group of citizens who decide exactly how this process will go. And they pretty much build out those guidelines. So some of the things that I told you earlier are some of the parameters that they put in place to make sure that this process is as fair as possible. And so right now, like I said, one of the 3 items that I wanted you guys to walk away with is the idea of being a budget delegate. And so budget delegates are also a committee of citizens who help outline this entire process. And so what budget delegates do after the ideas are collected from the community, they take the ideas and mold them into actual proposals. And they take those proposals and they work with outside entities, which most of the time are metro departments, to decide if those proposals are feasible. So, and that they don't exceed the dollar amount that they're working with. And so a lot of the collaboration they do with metro departments will tell them how much per sidewalk is a particular project going to be, how much program equipment and HVAC equipment and things like that cost. And so they can decide if the project will fit into this process. And if not, they try to do their best to tailor it to where it can still make the ballot if necessary, or they can be as creative to combine 2 or 3 projects into one to make room for more projects to be able to make the ballot based off the $10 million. And so once that ballot is prepared, they'll send it back to the steering committee. So I do want to show you guys a sample ballot. This was the 22 cycle from the North Nashville Bordeaux area cycle. And you can see some of the projects that they were able to submit and get on the ballot that the community voted on. There were a total of, I believe, 35 items. I only included the first page, and then they picked the top items from this voting process. And so it's heavily citizen-led. It's extremely citizen-led. There's no government interference at all with this process. The only thing that the mayor's office will be responsible for is making sure that these projects are actually implemented and given to the right departments to implement. And so I really think, like I said, that this is a great opportunity for this district and all districts to take advantage of. And I know, based off hearing some of the concerns and complaints from some of the things you're experiencing in your neighborhoods, that some of these problems can be solved by you as a citizen, and you decide where you would like some of this $10 million to go as it relates to District 33. And so I tried to keep it as brief as possible. I'm open to any questions. If there's something that I need to go back over, I know I went through that really, really fast. But if there's any questions, I also drop the website to our main landing page in the chat. I'll put my personal information, well, my Metro information in the chat as well. So if you're interested in being a budget delegate, if you're having issues with submitting a proposal, I can't give you the idea for the proposal, but I can help steer you in a great direction with your proposal. Please feel free to reach out to me. And that's pretty much all. Like I said, I'm open to
Ms. Thomas,
questions. Yes, ma'am.
I did have one question because I think I had put it on my Facebook page, but I didn't get anybody back. But I think we need somebody. Is it too late for the what do they call it? The delegates?
No,
Because they, yeah.
no,
So
we're currently
if,
looking for them.
yeah, so if you are interested in that, please send something to me to let me know. Because we would love somebody from our area to be on that, to be a delegate. And please, I'm going to say, even if you're not sure if what your project is, submit it anyway, because you don't know what might get funded. This would be a big help for our area.
And you can submit as many projects as you like. So if you have 10 things that, like everything that was explained on this call today, except for what was directed to codes, I think would be great projects to submit into this process.
And that includes sidewalks next to where schools are, walking down and those type of things?
Yes, ma'am.
There's got to be some questions. Any questions?
I know someone asked me to put the QR code back up, but I didn't see anything else.
Is that the one that's up now, or is this one just for questions and answers?
No, ma'am. This one is for the main landing page.
Okay. And just to let you all know, we're going to, I've already asked Ms. Rosie, she is going to capture some of this. And so when this is over, we're going to send this out to you as well. And the people who are on the database, we're going to email this out to you as well, because this is a perfect chance now to get some things done in your communities, in the communities. Questions for Ms. Thomas? No? Well, I want to thank you so very, very much for coming over, coming in, I guess. What do you say? Just coming on Zoom, I guess, and sharing this with us, because this was some information that people needed to hear, and I hope some people will take advantage of it. Thank you so very much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Miss Erica?
Hello,
Erica,
how are you doing?
There we go.
How's it-
Seems like I just saw you.
Yes, you did. You did. Thanks for all your wonderful service that you provide. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of information. Yes, I really appreciate you and just all the work you do for the council. And the council has really earned their money these last 4 years. Let's just say that. Yes, yes. So thank you for your service. So I am Erica Gilmore. I'm the Metropolitan trustee. And so we are responsible for the collections of property taxes and personalty taxes in the city of Nashville. But we have two programs that I'm always very excited to share about, which is our tax relief and our tax freeze programs. And so I just want to discuss briefly, give like a high level overview of what those two programs do. And so our tax relief program are actual monies that go back to the constituents. And I'm just really excited because the council, our Metropolitan Davidson County Council, allots the most money out of all the counties, all 95 counties. The match that the National Davidson County provides is 3 times more than any other county. And we were one of the first counties to adopt tax-free. So I'm always excited about that. So what the tax relief program does is actual dollars that goes back into the taxpayers' pockets. So one of the qualifications is, though, you have to be 65 years or older, or you can be disabled, or you can be a veteran. Now, if you're a veteran, because of the wonderful service that a veteran has provided for our country, we do not require income for veterans. The only requirement is that they must be 100% disabled. And so they can get a F-16 form. They get that from the Veterans Administration. They bring it to our office. They enroll into tax relief. If a widow was married to a veteran, she can also qualify for that program. And the same thing applies. There's no income requirements that are required. But if someone is on tax relief and they are not a veteran, it is an income guideline. And I'm excited to share that the income guidelines for this year are a little bit higher. So the income guidelines for this year are $33,460. So that means that you cannot exceed it. And we tie to is not the number of people that are in the house, it's the number of people whose name is on the deed. So if you want to have tax relief and you qualify, it cannot exceed $33,460. So that's the husband and the wife. And that could be a daughter and a mother, because sometimes as residents get older, they put their children's name on the deed. So if those names are on the deed, it's the income that is counted. It's not the people that's in the house. So we also, another thing I think that is important, we always go a year back. So for instance, we just finished our 2020 year taxes. The income that you are required to provide are from your 21 income taxes. So we always go a year back. That piece is important as well. So you may qualify, you may not qualify 1 year, but you can qualify the next year. And let's see, what else? The program cuts off on April the 5th. So we've cut off the deadlines for this year, but we begin again in October. So we can no longer accept any more applications for this year. And I'm excited to say that we have 6,135 people on the program, and the number increases every year. So I'm really excited about that. And so I talked to you about the disabled veteran. A person can be disabled and they can also qualify. So if they're disabled, it doesn't make a difference what age they are, they can qualify for the program. And once again, we said that that's money that actually goes back into a person's pocket, that goes towards their property taxes. And for this year, it averaged to about $1,095. So if someone's taxes were $1,095, they were totally covered. If someone's taxes were $2,095, $1,095 of that was covered, and they only had to pay $1,000. We also have the tax freeze program. And so the tax freeze, it's only, you can have several houses, but for either one of these programs, it's the property that you live in that you can qualify for. So if you have a rental property and then you have a property that you live in, we can only count the property that the person resides in, not the rental property. Okay, so I do want to clear that up. And what the tax freeze does, it freezes your taxes, which means that it won't increase whatever year you apply. So say this year your taxes, once again, they were $1,095. You apply for it. There's a reappraisal that happens. The taxes go up to $2,095. I think it go up to $3,095. It's the year that you applied. So it would only be $1,095 that the person is required to pay, because that's the particular year that they applied. So the year that you apply, your taxes are frozen. So if it goes up each year, it doesn't make a difference. The year that you apply, that's the amount that you pay. So once a person qualifies for tax relief or tax freeze, the only thing we require is that they recertify. And that requires that there's a form that's sent out each year, and it's usually a certain color, and that household signs that form and they return it. That's the only thing we require. You fill out your income. So once you're on the program, you don't have to continue to resubmit the paperwork every year. It's only the signature and the form that we send you. But that form is very important, because if your signature is not on there and you fill in the income, either one of those, if we don't have it by April the 5th, it can remove you from the program. There's a couple of things that we require that you have. And so I'm just going to read those off really quickly. And then I'm going to ask if there are any questions. I'm giving a high level. I have a presentation, but we're just doing a high level tonight. So if you want me to come back, Councilmember Lee, I'm more than happy. But the high level version of that, the requirements are, you need a proof of age your proof of age, and we use the driver's license, or you can use a state ID. Proof of residence. Proof of residence can be a voter's registration card. It can be a bill, like you have a water bill or NES bill that you have. And then you would use whatever year's income. So we just finished our 2022 tax year, so they would have to have their 2021 federal income tax return. And then you also need a Medicare card. And so that's pretty much kind of high level, big picture, what you need. We want to encourage people to do continue to apply for this program. It is a wonderful program. There are a lot of residents that come in and sometimes they qualify and they share with me, they say, I don't want to take that money that could go towards someone else. And I say, you've earned it. If you pay taxes in the city of Nashville and Davidson County, you have paid into this program. And so it's totally okay for you to use this program if you're 65 years of age or older and you meet the income guidelines. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So tax freeze is a little bit higher. It's $47,750. And once again, that's just where you freeze the taxes. So we want to encourage people to continue to take advantage of these programs. It allows our residents to stay in their homes. And we know that that's very important because Nashville is so expensive, right? Property values are increasing and increasing and increasing. So if you have a home that's paid for, or even if you don't, but if you can have assistance with your property taxes, that's one less bill that you have to worry about. So I'm gonna leave my number. My number is 615-862-6330. We have a wonderful staff. They're very experienced. Anyone you call in our office, they will direct you to our tax relief and tax-free specialists. And we're just here to help. And that's our only goal, to help the residents to understand their property taxes, get assistance with those property taxes if they qualify. So thank you so much, Councilmember Lee, for your time, all of your hard work, for your votes, for your just everything. I appreciate you. Are there any questions you have for me, or anybody have any questions?
Doesn't look like we have any questions.
Okay. I would like to say that's because I did such a wonderful job, but people just totally weren't interested. I don't know which one. But
You both. They're both.
yes. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And let me know if there's anything I can do. We want people to take advantage of these programs. It is money that helps, so you can do something else with it. I wish I could qualify, but I haven't reached the age limit yet. I'm not 65, so.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you and your willingness and eagerness to come and make sure that everybody understands what's going on.
Yes, thank you so much. Please let them know. It opens up again and we want more people to apply. Oh, I do have one more thing. Can I share this quickly?
Yes,
I almost forgot.
please.
Because of the great work and relationship we have with our state representatives and the council's work and the trustee's office work, in the year 2024, the amount for the tax freeze will increase and will increase to $60,000. So there's going to be a lot more people that qualify. So I'm just really excited about that. Representative Love passed that bill. So yes, there'll be more people that can qualify. A lot of people have shared, constituents, council members, trustee's office, that number is too low. Is there anything that the state can do about it? And they did. So we got something passed for our Nashville, Davidson County residents, and we're excited. So 60,000, but it kicks in the year 2024. So thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you. You have a wonderful too. Anybody, any questions or any comments before we get ready to wrap up? Well, I hope you all found this useful. I hope you found some good information or heard some good information that you can use. I want to thank all of you. It's been a very busy week, but you all gave up your time to come on here and listen. So please, thank you so very much for that. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Am I forgetting anything, Miss Rosie?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, as always, thank you so very, very much for all you do. Y'all have to give her a hand clap because she really keeps me in line. But thank you, Sean. Yeah, she needs several of them trying to keep me in line. But anyway, bless you all. Thank you. Be safe. Hey, Glenda, thank you. That's all for you, Ms. Rosie, because you are wonderful. Thank you so very much. Was there anybody else that I forgot or anything on here? Well, you all have a great rest of your evening and be safe. Thank you so very much. See you
Thank
next
you. Have
time.
a good night.
Yay, thank you.
Mhm.